Hi everybody, my name is Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Jason.
And we're the Yahoo and the Torah YouTube channel.
And we thank you guys very, very much for hanging out, for listening to us. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys very, very much. And we hope you guys are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. Who are we, Jaden, and what do we believe as a family?
We are the people of Yahuwah. We are the children of Israel. We believe that the law, statutes, and commands are forever. They're never done away with. They're never put on the cross. They're never done away by an apostle or disciple. And that we need to follow the law, statutes, and commands and have the faith of the Messiah.
Yeah, faith of the Messiah. Now, we're blessed with having some studied, astute folks in here. So I'm going to go over from chapter 13 a couple things first. And I want, first of all, this is from Richard B. And again, I appreciate Richard and Brother Glenn and people who are far more studied and far more, I guess, have read far more than we have. And so when people are looking for the book of Revelations, they're always looking for the signs, the times, what's going to happen, how is it going to look, are we here, are we there, you know, and there's a lot of destruction in Revelation, a tremendous amount, all the way to the very end. And so this is from Richard B. Listen up here, gentlemen, if you guys will. Good morning, guys. Hi, Richard. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hi, Richard. Okay. I've learned by reading past prophecies that they are not in step-by-step order. In other words, like one chapter will give you an overview of what will happen further into the book. Now, what's interesting is Brother Glenn almost identically says that exact same thing in his other comment. So hold on. This is the first one from Richard. Ezekiel 31 talks about Egypt. You'd think, until you read further into it, verse 6b, and under its shadow dwelt all the great nations. Gulp. So I read through chapter 32. Notice in verse 2, it says, we are like a young lion. The youngest of the nations, by Lewis and Clark, we came forth with our rivers. Verse 3 is happening now with our migrant problems, which is also mentioned in Jeremiah 51. Same cause and effect, yet in chapter 30, it seems to go in and out of the real Egypt. Verse 6, for instance. But notice what it says in verse 12, rivers. How many rivers does Egypt have? 3, but only one runs year-round. The others in their monsoon season. We here in America are divided by our rivers, multitudes. Several major ones. Notice it also says in verse 12 that I will make the rivers dry. It's happening. And sell the land into the hand of the wicked. And that's also happening. I believe this has happened already. Due to some things that have come to light or are coming to light, now I'm going back to Revelation 13:12. A perfect description of America again. Even the number 666. The Lord wouldn't have given us a man to look for without providing in his word. People can speculate, draw their own conclusions, whatever, and there is a man in the word that has the number 666 associated with his name. That is Solomon, 2 Chronicles 9:13. Solomon means peaceful, because there was a great peace in the land. We go around trying to establish our beliefs, even if it means by war. It means war by peace. And so he's talking about North America, because this goes out to far more than North Americans. And so, guys, again, I will interrupt this reading of this particular part because a lot of this, Richard is obviously from North America, I believe. And so a lot of people who are in South Africa or far away who have never studied North America and have no idea anything about that, we're talking about a lot of this is what he's saying is North America. Now, let's continue on. And again, guys, I don't know if Richard is spot on or not, but I do believe that speculation and having as much information as we possibly can is key to firmly understanding and being wise in all of this. And so this is why we spend the time to read people's stuff. When people put together such long information like this, there's obviously stuff that we should all be looking at and trying to understand. Okay, let's going back into this. So when I read the last part of Revelation 13:12 with the understanding that we've been sold into the hand of the wicked and see the political turmoil, I got to thinking and checking on some things. Machines to vote, made in China. Memories and chips for those machines, made in China. Pandemic, you guessed it. I'm not even going with that. Made in China, they say. Yeah. All came down to 2020. I am literally following the word right now. Somebody sold us out. Right. Yeah, Hasatan. Then all these other things start to unfold. Makes a guy wonder. Here's something else that was shouted throughout at the world at the time, the Abraham's Accord. We look for peace, but no good came, and for a time of health, and behold, trouble. Jeremiah 8:15. Now look at verse 7 of the same chapter of the same book. Yea, the stork in heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the swallow observe the time of their coming. But my people know not the judgment of the Lord. Now, let's look at what Paul wrote in 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, for all they had to do was say it. Notice the capital letter in the middle of the sentence, peace. Now, that's the word again, emphasized. When you read in the Spirit, you start picking up these things. Okay, we won't get into something here, but onto a comment by Glenn. The devil being cast down, maybe y'all can share the scripture with him. Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Adonai hath a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. There's a striking similarity of the words here with Revelation 12:13, and when the dragon was cast down. Could Isaiah 28:2 be a reference to this? I want you to look up in the temple, 2 Thessalonians 2:4, the Strong's Concordance and Dictionary. Then I want you to look up the temple that Messiah Yahushua taught in. These are two separate meanings and words. Okay, let me just finish this off. When you establish that in your heads, then I'll share something else that happened just recently. Be a child of light, don't listen to traditions of men, or that day will come upon you as a thief in the night. So that is Richard's little spiel there. Now, here's we got Brother Glenn. And again, I just gave him a thumbs down. Sorry, Brother Glenn. Now, here's Brother Glenn as well. And so, again, we're just reading speculation. Here it comes. In order to understand events in Revelation, it is important to understand how the book of Revelation is structured. Many people think that it is a chronological record of events from start to finish, and that the entirety of Revelation is prophecy. There is an order, but it's not chronological, and the first 3 chapters are not prophetic. If we read Revelation with the assumption that it's chronological, it is impossible to understand. There are several places in Revelation where John writes and explains some things in a circular type of way. It's not linear, where it's all a sequential record. It's broken up with visions nested within visions. There's no speculation as to what is meant. Scripture gives us that info. For example, there are two different dragons in the Bible. The first one, called Leviathan, is found in the Old Covenant, and the second one, Satan, occurs in the New Covenant. Job 3:8, Job 41, 1 through 4, Psalm 74, 13 and 14, Psalms 104, 25 to 26, and Isaiah 27:1. Satan is described in Revelation 12:3, 4, 7, 9, 13, 17, 13:1, 2, 4, 11, and 16:13, and 22. Revelation 22 tells us this dragon is the devil or Satan. The dragon appears to symbolize power, Revelation 13:2. Satan is an evil angel and a created being, a cherub who used to live in heaven with Yah. In Revelation, the term dragon is just another name for Satan and is also symbolic of Satan's real power. The sea, a body of water, symbolizes people, multitudes, nations, and tongues, Revelation 17:10. 10 horns are the beasts of 10 kings, 17:12. The woman in purple is a false religion, Revelation 17:18. 7 heads of the beast are 7 mountains on which the horse sits, 17:9. Rod of iron is the judgment by Messiah in 2:27, from Psalms 2:9. The 4 horsemen carrying out Yah's purposes, 6:1, and from Zechariah 1:8, Ezekiel 5:17, 14, 21. Just to name a few. Revelation 13 describes the Antichrist and the false prophet. The 4 beasts of Daniel 7, he said the 4 beasts are nations, and Daniel 7, lion, bear, leopard, and the 10-horned beast become one beast, a single government and its leader, ruled by the Antichrist. And the dragon, Satan, gives the Antichrist his power for 42 months, 3.5 years. The first beast is the Antichrist. He will unite the world under one world government and one world religion. Both of the beasts in this chapter are men. The first beast is the Antichrist, and the second beast is the false prophet, Revelation 20:10 and Revelation 19:20. Economic sanctions will be placed on any who will not worship the Antichrist and take his mark, Revelation 13:16 through 17. You won't be able to get a job, have a bank account, fly on a plane, buy a house or car, have a driver's license or passport, buy food, unless you have the mark. Now, that's the crazy thing, is that particular part has come and is gone. Because most of the world through 2019 and 2022, that happened. They started taking this off, and they started undoing all of this stuff. But essentially, you could not get a job. You could not have a bank account. You could not, a bank account, not a big deal, with the events of 2020. But you could not fly on a plane. You had to, it's really crazy. And even down here, to buy food, you had to go through the system and put your head up to the scanner and scan in to even go in the grocery store if you wanted to buy food. So let's continue on. It's almost done. The mystery Babylon, the great whore discussed in Revelation 17 and 18, is the same entity that the false prophet of Revelation 13 comes from and is the force that causes the world to worship the Antichrist as Yah. And I believe, without a shadow of doubt, my 2 cents is mystery Babylon, and Babel is North America. It has to be. It just has to be. But I'm probably throwing that in there and ruining his write-up here. The mystery Babylon great whore discussed in Revelation 17 is the same entity that the false prophet of Revelation 13 comes from and is the force that causes the world to worship the Antichrist as Yah. It is my assessment that this entity appears to be the Vatican, the Roman Catholic Church. And I would say that is partially true, but as far as we're talking about pharmakia, we're talking about sorcery, we're talking about the world ruined by pharmakia and sorcery, and that is not out of the Vatican. That has nothing to do with it. The Vatican was all part of it. And they came and they got their people in on this. But as far as being the ones who did all this, you guys got to remember who the father of the shots are, if you guys remember that. Okay. Then the false prophet is most likely the Pope. That could very well be. The RCC has murdered more people, Yah-fearing and Yahushua following believers, than Hitler and Stalin combined. She has the cup with the blood of the saints in her hand. The Antichrist will persecute the saints of Yah, try to kill the 2 witnesses, succeeding only at the end when Yah allows it. Implement the mark and cause the world to worship him. Daniel 7:21, Daniel 8:24 and 25, Daniel 11:33, Daniel 12:1, 12:7, Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 17:21, Revelation 11, Revelation 12, Revelation 13, Revelation 14, and Revelation 17. Okay, the false prophet will help him gain the world's awe. Now here's the speculation. Some say the Antichrist will be a Muslim from the Muslim world, and others claim he will be from Europe. My hope and prayer are that we will recognize him and not fall for his snare. This can be accomplished by not looking for that person, but by looking for the traits the Antichrist will display. And I don't think here's the gig. You're not going to have a Muslim man that rises up. Nobody in Israel is going to follow a Muslim man. Most people outside of Islam are not going to follow a Muslim man and think he is the Antichrist by any chance. So I don't believe that is true. But again, this is all continued speculation. Now I'm going to go even further into this speculation, and I'm going to throw my own 2 cents into this because I'm taking us back to this chapter right here. And I'm going to take us through something that hopefully it doesn't get us in any trouble. Here's wisdom. He who has understanding, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, I want to stop there, and I want to take us over to this part right here. And I've done a ton of videos in other places, 153news.net, where I go into this exclusively and extensively. But what you're looking at, my friends, is you're looking at patent 060606. And of all people, it is done by Microsoft Technologies. So this is Mr. Bill Gates himself. Now, you don't have to go too far into anything, but let me tell you from an IT standpoint of where I was in the IT world before there was ever Windows. We had a program called DOS. I grew up in DOS 4. Then it went to DOS 5. And then it went to like DOS 5 something. And then DOS 6 came out. And DOS 6 was amazing. Because DOS 6, when it came out with DOS 6.2, it came out with this thing called double space. And it was the very first compression that we had ever seen. And you could take a 20 megabit drive and you could make it 40 megabits. Right? I'm telling you, 20 megabit drive back in the day was huge, right? That was huge. All we had was a little floppy disk that had 360K, 720. So anyway, I'm taking you through this because my entire life has been following the works of Bill Gates. I have had to work on his crap my entire life and work with his failed operating system my entire life. Now, the problem is here that Bill has come up with a system here that when you look at this, here's you are 145. Inside of 145 is now a special little device. You are now part of a computer. And let me take you right here to this little description and take you down right here about this. And this is something that everyone should understand, is when you have patent 060606 implemented into your body, this is some of the stuff that it can do. Some exemplary embodiments of the present disclosure may use human body activity associated with a task provided to a user as a solution to mining challenges in cryptocurrency systems. For example, a brain wave, or body heat emitted from the user when the user performs the task provided by an information or service provider, such as viewing advertisements or certain internet services, can be used in the mining process. Instead of massive computation work required by some conventional crypto systems, data generated on the body activity of the user can be proof of work, and therefore a user can solve computationally difficult problem unconsciously. Accordingly, certain exemplary embodiments of the present disclosure may reduce computational energy for the mining process as well as make the mining process faster. Now, I will explain this very quickly to you and what this means. This means that you are part machine. When you sleep at night, you can get ads served to you. When you further read this discussion of this, when you wake up in the morning, you can scan your hand and you can get paid in cryptocurrency because of the ads you watched while you were sleeping. Things of your brain waves, your body, based upon your body activity is how they know they serve the ad to you. Guys, this is called man and machine. And so we will leave it at this. For those with wisdom to hear and eyes to see. Now, I'm not saying anything other than informing everybody. There's no medical misinformation here. So simply letting you guys know that my lifetime in the IT world is something that I would say you would probably never want to be forced to have an upgrade your entire life if you want to survive. Okay, Revelation 14. All right, here we go. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
And I looked and saw a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written upon their foreheads. Now we know this 100.
I feel like this is the end.
This is part of this. So we know the 144,000 are the people that got sealed, right? The angels came down and sealed these guys, and now these guys sounds like they're in some sort of safety. They're out of this mess. And I heard a voice out of the Shemaim, like a voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. And they sang a renewed song before the throne and before the four living creatures and the elders. And no one was able to learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. It's quite the ditty, huh? Good song?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, nobody else is getting it. Yeah, whatever. It's going to be the good song, man. They are those who were not defiled with women, for they are maidens. They are those following the Lamb wherever he goes. They were redeemed from among men, being firstfruits to Yahuwah and to the Lamb. Okay, it is very clear here the qualifications of the 144,000, which absolutely would not be me. It would not be your mother. It would not be Miss Nicole.
It says who have not been with women. Is that men only then?
Well, they are. I mean,
or is
it
that
says, so they,
for people that have never been together?
It's in the Sefer. It says they are virgins, right? And so when it says they are maidens, that means I think it's men and women. I think children, youngsters, right? People who have not defiled themselves and have not been active with a man or a woman. That is what it clearly says. Okay, so if we're looking at who are the 144,000, and a lot of people are like, well, I have people all the time. They're like, oh, I'm 144,000. You will have the Jehovah's Witnesses. Every one of them think that they have this thing all dialed in, and they know exactly who the 144 are. But the very first qualification, it says they're not defiled with women, for they are virgins, they're maidens. They are following the Lamb wherever he goes. Okay, so that would mean that what?
It means you're with Yehoshua at all times?
Well, and what else? How do you follow the Lamb?
You keep the Torah.
Yeah, you keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. That's the only way that we are following the Lamb. It's not a faith-only thing. There is a set of guidelines, obedience that we have to do that we would be qualified as following the Lamb. Okay, so those two things right there, they were redeemed from among men. Sorry, he wants to go out, Miss Nicole. Being first fruits to Yahuwah and to the Lamb. Okay, so hold on real quick. And in the mouth, Jade, will you please pet the dog? Pet the dog, Jade. Okay, and in their mouth was found no falsehood, for they are blameless before the throne of Elohim. Okay, so what do you guys make of this?
It's like they were like perfect in their ways. They were like fully committed to the Torah, fully committed to Yah.
Yeah, fully committed to everything with him. And let's continue on. And I saw another messenger flying in the mid-Shemaim, holding the everlasting good news to announce to those dwelling on the earth, even to every nation and tribe and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, revere Elohim and give esteem to him, because the hour of his judgment has come. And worship him who made the Shamayim and the earth and sea and fountains of water. Okay, so what does it say up there for revere, Eli? It says fear Elohim. Okay, what do you guys make of this? Anyone?
I mean, if you are revering Elohim, you're keeping his commands, you're respecting what he said to do, which was follow my Torah.
If you're eating bacon, if you're eating pork, are you revering Elohim, Eli?
No.
Why not?
It's more like an attack on him because you are disobeying him if you know that you're not supposed to be eating that.
What if you get a Christmas tree and get a whole bunch of presents and get on your knees and open the presents in front of the Christmas tree?
That's also not revering him.
No. What about going to a 501c3 Sunday worshiping church and putting money in the tithing and then going out to eat dinner afterwards? And is that revering Elohim?
It's not, because you're not doing it on the correct day. You're not keeping his Torah, and you're not keeping his Sabbath. If it was the Sabbath, then you'd still be going out paying, giving him money, and all that.
All right, so what does revering Elohim look like then?
Obeying
his commands.
Obeying his commands, his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's right. Okay, here we go. And another messenger followed, saying, Babel is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her whoring. Now, I don't, I know Brother Glenn thinks it's a Catholic church. I know a lot of people think it's a Catholic church. I think, without a shadow of a doubt, when you put Jeremiah 50 and 51 together and you look at Babel falling here, it could be part of the Catholic Church, but there is no evil in this world greater than North America. And North Americans, I love you guys. That's my hometown. I grew up there. I made millions of dollars in North America. That's how I raised my family. That's how I made it out of there. I love North America. North America, you can do anything that you want to do. It was the land of the greatest opportunity, but that greatest opportunity has turned people into demons, and they don't understand that Elohim Most High is who gave us everything that we had. And so this is very interesting. Babel is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink the wine of her wrath of her whoring. And the third messenger followed them, saying with a loud voice, If anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives his mark upon his forehead or upon his hand, he also shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahuwah, which is poured out undiluted into the cup of his wrath, and he shall be tortured with fire and sulfur from the Kodesh messengers and before the Lamb. Okay, so without a shadow of a doubt, the Catholic Church has something to do with everything, right? False prophet, probably the black pope. The pope that's in reign right now is the very first Jesuit black pope that we ever had. They had never had anything before that. And for anyone who's ever understood the Jesuits are probably the greatest evil of the Catholic Church. It's the strong arm of evil that will absolutely do whatever it takes to bring their cause to fruition, including murdering people, murdering popes, murdering kings. I mean, they will do everything. The Jesuits are super evil. But yet you will see people from the Catholic Church, and they have Jesuit stickers all over the back of their cars. And I guess people don't really realize the great evil that things are. Now, I think North America is going to use the Catholic Church as well as the Catholic Church uses North America, which they're all in sync. But I believe that everything will probably come out of North America to this great evil. And I mean, look at what North America did to the entire world. When we had the father of the shots who basically did what he did, right? Let's continue on. 11. And the smoke of their torture goes up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, those worshiping the beast and his image. Also, if anyone receives the mark of his name.
So if you receive the mark, you get no rest ever.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I mean, when you start worshiping the beast, Yah plagues you, and it's over. Okay. Here's a very, very important chapter. Here is what I tell people all the time. This is how salvation occurs, right? Right here. Here's the endurance of the Kodeshim, the saints. Here are those guarding the commands of Yahuwah and the belief of Yahushua. I quote this verse more than any other verse anywhere. I believe it without a shadow of a doubt. This is our way forward, that those guarding the commands of Yahuwah. And again, sticking the commandments on the cross and saying they're not good for you anymore. that's not guarding the commands. And so if you think you're going to be raptured or you think you're going to be saved, and it's not going to go this way. It's messed up. Okay, 13. And I heard a voice out of the Shemaim saying to me, write, Baruch are the dead who die in the Adon from now on. Yes, says the Ruach, in order that they rest from their labors and their works follow with them. Okay? Thoughts on that one? Blessed are those who die now. I mean, that's essentially what it says, right? And the people, they get a little bit.
If you die on the good side, you'll be blessed when the rain comes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's from the rest of what's happening here. It probably sounds like the easiest way to get out of here. 14. And I looked and saw a white cloud, and sitting on the cloud was one like the bin of Adam, having his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Our Messiah made it here, right? So here we are. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, all this tragedy, everything we're having, we are going to see our Messiah coming down on a cloud, right? This is going to be a wild thing, right? Is he going to come down? Does he have a sickle, or is this all metaphoric?
I think it's metaphoric to his wheat harvest.
Yeah.
When he says that I have harvest, but there's not many workers, I think this is what he's talking about.
Yeah, and who's going to do the reaping is Messiah. Okay, 15. And another messenger came out of the Mishkan, crying with a loud voice to the one sitting on the cloud, send your sickle and reap, because the hour has come for you to reap, because the harvest of the earth is ripe.
Yeah, so I think it's metaphoric.
Yeah. And the one sitting on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another messenger came out of the Mishkan, which is in the Shemaim, and he too held a sharp sickle. And another messenger came out from the altar, having authority over the fire. And he cried with a loud cry to him, having the sharp sickle, saying, send your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, because her grapes are ripe. And the messenger thrust his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of Yahuwah. And the winepress was trodden outside the city, and blood came out of the winepress up to the bridles of the horses for about 1,600 stadion. Okay, that's
200 miles.
That's 200 miles. Wow, that's a lot of blood. Came up to the bridles of the horses. So the horses were like 6 feet tall, maybe something like that, with their heads up there.
Yeah, close to that.
So we're talking, that's a lot of blood. Are we talking metaphorically, or are we talking like a bloodbath, or what are we talking
I think you
here,
just say
folks?
there's a lot of blood.
It's a bloodbath. Yeah, it's not good. And, if people get thrown into the winepress of the wrath of Yahuwah, anyone want to go into the winepress of the wrath of Yahuwah?
No.
Anyone? No, doesn't sound like a good place to go.
Idea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it, everybody. We hope you guys have a wonderful day. We thank you guys very, very much for everything. We love you all, and we will see you again another day. Actually, we'll see you guys tonight, Yah willing, for Sirach, unless it is raining. If it is pounding down, we're back now, and the wind's gone. We're back into the rainy season where we can't hear anything. And if it's good, we will try to do it live. And if not, I guess we'll see you next time. Much love.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.